Welcome to the 5th meeting of the year. Man, right dead smack in the middle of a 100-degree streak, and it's going to keep on trucking. If y'all would take a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, just to meet and greet the fellow Rotarians and any guests and maybe some other folks that you haven't met in a while. Stand and greet others. All right, if y'all would please go back to your seat, remain standing. Past President Cleve Clinton is going to lead us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
We have any wowies and yowies, concerns and joys for those uneducated, Pat? Yes.
I survived a 10th appendectomy last Tuesday, and it was so easy compared to all my other surgeries.
And so was this was planned probably, right? Yeah, no. Okay. Glad you survived. Well done. Yes, sir.
We have a new baby great-granddaughter.
Great-granddaughter.
It did not bother me one bit to be a great-grandfather. What's killing me is my baby boy is a grandfather.
That would hurt. Yeah, I get it. That's a joy. But I guess it's a joy and a concern. Okay, I got it. Sir? Oh, are you going to do? Oh, I'm sorry. You cannot be joyful right now. You have to wait and hold on to those joys because you got to pay to tell about them. So, hang on. Sorry, I shouldn't have been asking for joys. We're only asking for concerns. Are there others?
Been there very long, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said last week and the week before. But I get it. All right. Next, anybody else? Concerns only. All right. Let's pray. For the food before us, for the clothing on our backs, for our lives, our very lives, for the blessings and opportunities beyond measure that you provide every day, for the friendship and fellowship of our fellow servant leader Rotarians. For all these, we thank you, O Lord. We ask your blessing and your presence and your prayers with David Goodson, whose wife, Catherine Sissy Booth Goodson, died, and her funeral was earlier this week. We also ask that you pray for Doug's wife, Pam Means, who fell and broke her shoulder and recovering nicely at home. Thank you, O Lord. Amen. Okay, let's now see if we can figure out the pledge. There you go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I was going to say, I've got, Kate said I had 15 minutes. I've got 10 more minutes to go.
Is your name on my list today? All right, we'll slide it in. I got a pen. All right. Before we jump into Happy Bucks, Kathy Allred has kindly volunteered to go around the tables for any raffle tickets that someone might not have purchased out front that would like to. So she'll just be coming around, just raise your hand, and she'll take them from you. So at this time, we get to express our joys, and it's time for Happy Bucks. So any joys anybody wants to share?
Somebody
John
has to
Whaley.
have a joy.
Hang on, Jim. Here's a mic.
Last night, we learned that our older son, Michael, won a second term as county commissioner for Shelby County, Tennessee, which is where Memphis is located. And so we're delighted about that.
Awesome. Congratulations. Any other joys? Happy news? Fred Brown.
Please be back there. Are you doing happy bucks for you know who?
Oh, you know, I guess I could. But if you want to pay for it, I'll gladly accept it.
I'll pay for it. Okay.
We can both pay for it.
I'll go one too, so go ahead.
My gorgeous, bouncing baby girl has finally figured out a way to get engaged. I beg your pardon. She's engaged as of Saturday a week ago. No, that's not true. She really is. She found a great guy, and his name is Adam Richter, and they're getting married December 3rd. So there you go. Thanks, Fred, for reminding me. Fred's anniversary, by the way, was...
And that beautiful girl that he's talking about just happens to be my goddaughter, Brian and Brenda's goddaughter. So I was going to do the second part of that, so I want to make sure you did the first part of it. So that was good. And not only that, we celebrated last night mine and Brenda's 38th wedding anniversary with the Clintons last night. So 38 years. Can you imagine that? Somebody could put up with me that long. What do you think? Thank you.
Congratulations. Any other joys or good news to share?
I have a quick
Oh,
one.
we got one back in the back, too.
In the back?
Cub.
Oh, where am I going?
Cub's in the back, yeah.
Talking about wedding, or not wedding, but anniversaries, you youngsters, my wife and I celebrated number 61 last night.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Any more joys? Oh, we got one back here, Susan.
So my happy is my oldest son, Sean Michael Glenn, who's a senior chief in the Navy. Whoop! Celebrated his 1-year anniversary today or yesterday, and he and his wife Lauren were married in Santorini, Greece. So that was quite a celebration last year.
Very cool. All right, we got one more over here.
Beth?
Oh, you already, okay, you're just paying for it. All right. Congratulations on that great grandbaby. Okay, with that, it's time for any guests to please stand and be introduced.
Hi everyone. So I have my brother Puranjay Patil. He just graduated from Northeastern University, Boston with environmental engineering. And I have my sister. She will go to Lubda. She will go to junior year starting this fall. She is pursuing mechanical engineering. Please give them a warm hand of welcome. Thank you.
I'm very pleased to introduce our guest, Cora Droz. Cora is from Midland, and when I was in the Midland Club, I had the honor to write a global grant scholarship for Cora to get her master's at the London School of Economics. So we have stayed in touch. That was an exciting year. And she is now going into her second year at UT Law because she is an overachiever, is what she is. So, you're welcome, Cora.
Thanks, Barb. So I have with me two of our honorees for the 20 Under 40 program, and as most of you know, the Rotary partners with People newspapers on this program acknowledging young folks in our readership area. And today I have with us Bora Lacey, and she is with the SMU Tower Center. And then I also have Jessica Borlander, and she's with, tell me the name of your firm again.
Lockton Companies.
Lockton Companies at Benefits. Oh, he wants to get a picture? Okay. I just learned that Jessica's husband was a former Rotarian.
He needs to be current.
Hello. Yes, I'm Meeta Rajaram and my husband Ramaswamy Rajaram. We are from the Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Sunrise in Mumbai. Our club has about 80 members, and we have 3 Rotaract clubs, 1 Interact clubs, and we have just recently started 2 new clubs. Yes, and we are engaged in as far as the projects are concerned. Can I take a minute? Okay. We have done a global grant project related to giving the BiPAP, that is the ventilators and oxygen concentrators to a hospital in Navi Mumbai. Thank you.
We're going to do a flag here. They're going to exchange the flag, I think. There's Lee. Well, we're going to take a quick picture here.
My name is Jim Dalal. I'm a visitor, and hopefully you'll accept me soon to be a member of your club. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim.
And saving the best for the last, of course, my longtime friend John Hawk, H-O-C-K, Hawk. Oh, he's not the last. Oh, so sorry. Eric's, well, he's a good man, but sort of. Anyway, John and I know each other from the music business, where he is a fellow drummer, and we both got to know each other when we were drying out in prison one time. John, welcome.
Welcome. Patsy, you're on deck.
Rod, do you want to introduce me?
It takes a little while for me to get up, but that's okay. I'm vertical. This is my wife, Beth, my assistant, driver, companion, and caregiver, Beth Pirtle.
Please help me welcome Doug Ferber. He's a guest of Chris Blackman. He's a longtime resident of the Park Cities and just went through the interview process today. Welcome.
Great, welcome. Welcome to all our guests, and hopefully you'll consider membership in our club. Next up is Patsy Watson with our PCR Marketplace Advertiser.
And our Marketplace Advertiser today is Mark NEACE, sitting right here at the back of the room with us. Yay, Mark! Mark has been a member of our club since 2014 and is a Paul Harris Society member. He is currently serving our club as the Director of Public Image and District 5810 as the Public Image Team Leader. Did you know that over 80% of all internet traffic is now video related? Organizations of all sizes and industries must deploy a video marketing strategy now to remain competitive in today's ever-changing marketplace. SyncLab Media creates video marketing strategies and content so that brands can increase awareness, engagement, and revenue. Their primary services include video marketing consulting, TV quality video production, and content distribution and management across social and on-demand platforms. Mark and his team recently launched a video marketing retainer program and a social media for small business program to provide agency-level service to small business owners at affordable monthly rates. Also, look for SyncLab Media Network app
to launch soon on Roku, Amazon Prime TV, Apple TV, Google TV, and smart TV platforms. The channel features episodic TV shows produced for clients and their own original shows. Please keep Mark NEACE and SyncLab Media top of mind when considering referrals to your friends, colleagues, and clients who are decision makers at companies in need of leading-edge video marketing solutions. Thank you, Mark, and this is his ad right here. Let's give him all a hand for advertising in our hub. Thank you, Mark.
Next up is Kathy Wall to talk about our foundation.
Hey, I want all you birthday folks, there's 10 of y'all, you can't hide, so stand up. Anybody here gonna tell me it's your real birthday? I was gonna sing happy birthday, but we got too much going on. But just as a reminder about RCPC, it's a wonderful foundation under Happy's presidency, over 55,000 from the Salvation Army, Attitudes and Tire. It's just wonderful on RCPC. So as a reminder, please give. It goes to wonderful causes. That's it.
Thanks, Kathy. Now, past President Fred Brown with a special award.
As a past president of this club, it's very exciting to see so many guests here today, so welcome to you. It's good to see Richard Gilman here as well as a new member. Glad you're here, Dick, so thank you. On June 24th at the annual club end of the year meeting at Ozona's, our new officers and directors were installed. At that meeting, several individuals were recognized and honored for their outstanding contributions to our club for the Rotary year of 2021 and 22. That day, 4 of the 7 awards were presented. 2 other awards have been since presented at separate meetings. Today, we will honor the 7th and final award winner of the Wilbur Hawkins Spirit of Rotary Award. Unfortunately, our honoree recently joined a new medical technology consulting company and will be traveling more and more and possibly moving from Dallas. The result of this job change means that she will not be a member of our club, at least for the coming year. However, we wanted to recognize her for her contribution for her last year. The Wilbur Hawkins Spirit of Rotary Award was established in 1997. This award is presented to a club member for enthusiastic service who promotes the culture, joy, and spirit of our club through humor, fun, while serving as an example of service for others. It honors the life, happy personality, and good humor of Wilbur Hawkins. Our 2022 recipient joined our club in May of 2021. She was sponsored by Happy Franklin. Her classification was healthcare IT consulting. Our recipient was born in Augusta, Georgia, but got to Texas as fast as she could, as she says. She has been indirectly involved with Rotary for many years, as her mother was a Rotarian in Georgia. She has a bachelor's degree from Georgia Southern University and her master's from Capella University. She also attended class at the University of Washington and the University of Louisville. Prior to moving to Texas, she was employed by the state of Georgia in social services. While in Georgia, she enjoyed volunteering with a food bank and a women's shelter there. In 2013, she switched careers to health care consulting. She came to Dallas on an assignment with Baylor Hospital in early 2020, and with the outbreak of COVID, decided to permanently move here. Her job included technical training for doctors and nurses in hospital operating rooms. Her interests include long-distance running and art. She has been, or was last year, the vice chair of the PCR Connect Committee, where she excelled in making announcements about monthly gatherings for socializing and networking. Her smile, her wit, her charm encouraged everyone to attend. She is a graduate of the 4th class of RCPC Legacy of Leadership. It is my honor to present today the winner of the 21-22 Wilbur Hawkins Spirit Award to Joy Gold. Joy is not with us, as I said earlier, but she did. We sent her award to her, and Mark has a video of her accepting that. So Mark, if you could put that on the screen, we'd appreciate it.
Hello to my fellow Rotarians. My name is Joy Gold, and I'd like to take just a brief moment to thank everyone because I was recently awarded the Wilbur Hawkins Spirit of Rotary Club Award from the Park City Rotary Club. Thank you so much for this award. I definitely will cherish this, and it has been great being able to work hand in hand with the Rotary and all the experiences and networking and people I've been able to meet over the past year. It's been great. Thank you so much. And a special thanks to Happy Franklin because she is the one who encouraged me to join the Rotary Club. It's been a great opportunity to work with everyone, and I hope to see you again in the near future. Have a great day.
Let's give Joy a round of applause.
Alice Friedline with a special presentation, and PARTHIVI PATIL is on deck.
I introduced Cora before. We want to encourage her to be active with Rotary as soon as she lands wherever it is that she will land after law school. So I would like to tell you about a Paul Harris Fellow. Paul Harris Fellow recognition was created in memory of Paul Harris, the founder of Rotary, as a way to show appreciation for contributions to the Foundation's charitable educational program. A Paul Harris Fellow is an individual who contributes $1,000 or in whose name that amount is contributed. And it is my honor to present Cora with a Paul Harris Fellow.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing my new member speech today. So I'm a returning member. Most of you already know me. I am PARTHIVI Patil, and I'm originally from Mumbai, India. So my parents both are Rotarians, and they have been past presidents. My mom is an attorney. My dad is a chemical engineer by profession. I have my brother, whom I introduced earlier. He just recently graduated with environmental engineering degree from Northeastern University in Boston. And I forgot to introduce that my cousin, Lubda, she is a Rotary Club member in Long Beach, California. And then, so let me tell something about me. So I came here to pursue Masters in Electrical Engineering from SMU Dallas. And after that, I have been working, I worked in a startup, and currently I'm working for Samsung. Is it good now? Yeah. And currently I'm working for Samsung as a radio frequency engineer, and I'm pursuing my MBA as well. So I became a member back in March 2017. So my major reason for joining Rotary was peace. Peace for my mind and my self, because I love volunteering. So as kids, when me and my brother were growing up, my parents, whenever they used to do any kind of volunteering activities, we both would participate in it. So that really intrigued me to become a member eventually. But here it took almost 1 year for my dad to push me to go to the Rotary Club of Park Cities to actually go and attend meetings and become a member. And then finally in March, I became a member, March of 2017. Then because I was looking for jobs, I moved to Plano. Then I had to drop out from the membership. And then this year I contacted Happy Franklin during the Transform Dallas phase. And that's when I decided that I want to rejoin it. And now I think like I have the time and energy. Like I'm still looking for my dream job, but recently I've realized that finding perfect or compatible man is more difficult than finding dream job. And then like I would really like to thank Happy, Pam, Eric, Tracy, Tom. Everyone has really been very helpful to me, and they have guided me throughout so many years. Laurie, Jeff, and I've learned a lot under their guidance, and I'm really happy to be here. This is family away from home. I really love this club a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, PARTHIVI. So great to have her back. Okay, a couple quick announcements. You heard last week from Holly, we've got a Cowboys VIP tour and dinner Sunday, September 25th. So we're cutting back on the emails. You will get emails about social events, but if you want to know what's going on in the club, you can look in the hub, or you can look at the screen during our events, or each week when you're getting the electronic invitation to this week's meeting, it comes out on Thursdays, I believe. If you'll scroll down, you'll see a list of all the upcoming activities. So we're just trying to make sure that we have enough time for our speaker. Another thing for signups, Legacy of Leadership. We are now accepting applications for this year's cohort. It'll be starting soon, so look online for information regarding that. Let's see if I got anything else I need to speak about. Oh. September 2nd, in honor of Labor Day, we are not going to meet on that Friday. So please don't show up, because no one's going to be here unless you just have your own private happy hour. With that, I'm going to bring up Jeff Brady to introduce today's speaker. Oh, whoa. A raffle. We got to get a winner today. So sorry, folks. $251, and if Tom will be kind to draw this week's winner. So much stuff going on, I forgot. 231. If you have three numbers ending in 231, you're today's winner. Yeah, right here. All right. So with that, come on up. Draw a card. If you draw the ace of spades, you will win half of the pot. If you don't, you get to keep this card as a souvenir. It is a jack of spades, no winner, so the pot will continue on until next week. That's your prize. That's your prize. Thank you for coming.
Exciting new feature in our club each week. So it's my pleasure to make this introduction, and I'll be brief. Anybody familiar with Dallas or Dallas philanthropy, education reform, or possibly biotech knows the name Tom Luce. He's a Dallas native, founding partner of a prominent law firm many of you may have heard of. He's a public servant and a 2018 Lens Award winner. And many of you may know that is a prominent award which recognizes enduring civic or humanitarian efforts benefiting our fair city, Dallas, Big D. He's been involved in education reform for about 30 years. Is that right, Tom? About 30 years. First being appointed to the Texas Select Committee on Public Education by Governor Mark White. Remember him? Back in 1984. And then years later, President George W. Bush appointed him as Assistant Secretary of Education. He's written 2 books. He's taught at Harvard, UT, and his alma mater, SMU, go Ponies. Tom went on to found Texas 2036, an organization addressing the impact of the state's phenomenal growth by an estimated 10 million people when it turns 200 years old, most of them moving here from California. We're not sure we want all of them. But he's also co-founded or served in a leadership role with the National Center for Education Accountability, the National Math and Science Initiative, the Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute, and Just for Kids. And speaking of kids, Tom has been married to his wife, Pam, for 60 years. How about that for a wedding anniversary? They have 3 children, right, and 7 grandsons. Tom, when do you sleep? You may not. His latest venture is serving as CEO of Biotech Initiatives. of Lyda Hill Philanthropies, and it's focused on developing the entire scope, the entire life of science ecosystems across the state of Texas. So we are delighted to have Tom here today to tell us a little bit about what's going on in biotech in Texas. Please help me give a big Rotary welcome to our guest speaker today, Tom Luce. Tom?
Guess you all have a lot of joys around here and a lot of wows, so tough act to follow. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be with you today and talk to you about the burgeoning life science ecosystem here in North Texas. We're trying to grow and diversify and make even larger a bio-life sciences sector that was started many years ago in North Texas. I had a gentleman come up and give me his card. He said he formed the first bio-life science company here in Dallas 20 years ago. So this is a sector that's been around a while, but we're trying to give it a renewed emphasis and growth. And I think we're succeeding with the creation of what's called Pegasus Park, which is located near UT Southwestern, the design district. I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go through this slide presentation, and I'll be brief because I know you all have covered a lot of ground, and you have I know Rotary, and I know you adjourn when you adjourn, so I'll be careful. Why a life science ecosystem in North Texas? Well, we believe the growth of the ecosystem poses an enormous opportunity to diversify the Texas economy. We always have to worry about continuing to grow our economy and diversify it, and always creating new jobs at all income levels. And bio-life sciences can do that while it's improving the life and welfare of all Texans and all Americans. The bio-life sciences sector creates what I call entry-level jobs and C-suite jobs. All the full range of jobs are incorporated within the bio-life sciences sector. We have a lot going for us in North Texas. We're well positioned from a macroeconomic standpoint. We've outperformed the national growth rate in life sciences over the last 5 years. We also expect to continue to outperform the national average over the next 5 years. So there's a lot going on in bio-life sciences. We all became aware of that with the creation of vaccines, the emergence of COVID. We all learned a whole lot about bio-life sciences, whether we wanted to or not. We have a strong track record when it comes to intellectual capital and intellectual property generation. Last year, our institutions received over $130 million in NIH funding and over $72 million in cancer prevention funding. So we have a lot of funding in the area. We have a lot of sciences in the area, and we've certainly got the intellectual capital to continue to grow this sector. We also have the talent pipeline. Currently, North Texas ranks as the #1 area in job creation in the entire country, and we have a high concentration of high-tech jobs as it is. As you hear all these young people with all the things they're majoring in, you can see why we're growing so fast in biotech and other industries like that are dependent upon science and engineering. Over the last 5 years, almost $4.5 billion in private capital. The vast majority of those investments have come from out-of-state investors. So we're attracting capital to the state, which is helping further grow the state. We kid a lot about how much Texas is growing, but we need to grow to sustain our growth. And most of this growth has been enhanced by our growing community of ecosystem partners who now, for the first time, I'm thrilled to say, have a physical space within Pegasus Park. But first, just take a look at some of those brand names up there. This is just a small number of the growing number of community and seasoned and successful biotech entrepreneurs, ventures, and leading corporations that are headquartered here in Dallas. It also includes McKesson and Verily, successful startups and huge growth ventures like Peloton Therapeutics and Taysha. You've also seen recently a lot of headlines regarding the growth of the biotech industry in North Texas. It's just occurring so rapidly here that it's pretty hard to keep up with. During the last 5 years, for instance, just in the last 5 years, North Texas life science sector itself has outgrown the national average over 2.5 times. In other words, we've grown 2.5 times faster than the national average. People talk a lot about the Boston life sciences sector, Silicon Valley, Research Triangle, but North Texas is rapidly catching up with all those areas. Our strength is really in research, biopharmaceutical products, medical and testing labs, and medical devices. At a state level, we have several incentive programs such as the Cancer Prevention Research Prevention Institute of Texas, which, by the way, is a little discussed program, but very unusual for Texas. Texas voters, which don't normally vote for bonds or tax increases at all, voted twice with over 60% of the state population registering for Texas leading the nation in cancer research by funding $6 billion in bonds to finance cancer prevention and research. So there's a lot of cancer research taking place right here in Texas thanks to the voters of the people of Texas. Now, from an intellectual capital standpoint, we've had a strong track record. Our institutions and companies just in North Texas have generated over 2,800 patents over the last 10 years, most notably in medical and surgical devices. The IP generation is supported by the fact that over 67% of our region's total academic R&D spending is dedicated to life spending. Let me repeat that. 67% of our region's total academic R&D spending is dedicated to life sciences. And we have the intellectual capital in this North Texas to make this industry really grow and boom. UT Southwestern currently is ranked the #1 publication in the world for publishing high-quality research and scientific research. So that feeds the intellectual capital which allows this life sciences sector to grow. The region talent pool is robust and growing. We just announced yesterday the Department of Commerce had over 600 applications for job training programs and made 32 awards across the country, and one of them was to North Texas to train 800 young people in life sciences sector jobs that will immediately go into the workforce with not requiring even a college degree. If they complete a 2-year training certificate, they'll go immediately into the life science sector where they'll be further trained into high living wage jobs. So this is a growing talent pool within our region. We have, as a region, and you know, we have so many universities in our region, it's hard to, you know, Boston talks about, well, they have MIT or they have Harvard, but we have so many intellectual academic institutions such as UTA, UTD, SMU, TCU, UT Southwestern, you could go on and on, Tarleton State, University of North Texas. We produce right now in North Texas the 3rd most STEM graduates in the country. So that's a remarkable achievement for North Texas, and that's right here in this area. So if we can keep all that talent which we're graduating here in North Texas, the North Texas area will continue to boom. And as you know, lots of people are moving to North Texas. We kidded a lot about people from California, but they're moving here from all over the country. This is significant because the life science employment in North Texas is expected to outpace the national average over the next few years. Our team's doing a lot of work to make sure that this sector continues to grow. I mentioned all the intellectual capital. This is a map that mentions all these institutions that we have in this region. This is the intellectual capital portion of what we're doing. We also had an exciting announcement last week in Fort Worth, actually a month ago now, where A&M is going to establish a new STEM-focused university in Fort Worth. So we'll have A&M in Fort Worth as well, which is going to add remarkably to our talent pool. We also have investors from coast to coast are paying attention, and that's very important. For 20 years ago, what would happen is people would take intellectual capital from UT Southwestern or some of our institutions and feel like they had to move their companies once they proved their concept. They felt like they had to move them to Boston or to Seattle or to Silicon Valley to grow because they felt like they couldn't get the workforce here or the capital here, but that's changing. And that's what Pegasus Park is about, and that's what this initiative is about, is by making sure that not only can we create companies here, we can grow them here and keep them here, so we keep the growth here in North Texas and keep the talent here. Investors across the country have taken notice. They've increased their investment in North Texas by 12% over the past 10 years, and much of this increase has taken place in early stage companies, indicating the North Texas startup pipeline is expanding. Over the past 5 years alone, almost $4.5 billion of private capital has gone into North Texas in life sciences. 72% of those investments have come from out-of-state investors. So we're attracting capital to our state and then creating jobs here to keep our pipeline growing. Here are some of there have been over 52 North Texas life science startups successful exits over the last 5 years. Here are just some of them. As you can see, there's a lot of them up there. And we've had the largest of which was Peloton Therapeutics, which spun out of UT Southwestern and reached a $2 billion plus valuation. We've also had Tasha, as I mentioned, merged. It's a gene therapy company that happens to be headquartered at Pegasus Park. Now let me tell you a little bit about Pegasus Park itself. This is a 25-acre office development near the Southwestern Medical District. The whole concept is to put on one campus all the intellectual capital that we need and all the collaborative features we need to grow the sector. So in other words, we have universities represented there, we have startups represented there, we have a national biolab institution called BioLabs opened up a lab there, so there's wet lab space for companies to grow. So we're creating in one place all the ecosystem partners you need to grow the entire sector. That includes startups, incubators, venture firms, universities, lab space, and supporting organizations. And they're all within physical proximity to each other. We believe in creative collision, people running into each other in the hall, brainstorming, creating new ideas, and all that's going to take place at a place called Pegasus Park, which I encourage you to take a tour of and visit sometime. Here are just some of the ecosystem partners. The print's a little small for you to see from afar, but there's a Mass Challenge, for instance, is a nationwide global accelerator that helps startups develop into high-growth companies. Bio North Texas, the trade organization that represents the industry, is office there. In other words, everybody is there at one place. BioLab offers wet lab spaces, as I said, to biotech startups who've spun out of universities and are also want to develop their companies in North Texas, and to companies from all over the country focused to relocate or have a presence in North Texas. Half the startups in BioLabs right now are from out of state who moved here for the opportunities that they see in North Texas. So this is a growing phenomena. Pegasus Park, for those of you who have lived in Dallas for a long time used to be the ExxonMobil headquarters. First it was Zales corporate headquarters, then it was the ExxonMobil headquarters. It's a beautiful office building that's completely been renovated, redone, but it is allowing us to now bring together in 25 acres and 1,500,000 square feet the ability to grow this entire sector in one place. In addition, we have the zoning capacity to add another 1,500,000 square feet at that same location. So this, in effect, can be the catalyst and the hub for the entire region. Where is Pegasus Park? I basically described it to you, but it's close to UT Southwestern. It's right off 35, Commonwealth exit. There on 35. You can't miss it. It's close to the Love Field, to DFW Airport, UT Southwestern, and most of our universities are going to have a presence there at that Pegasus Park. So it's quite a development and quite a new business venture for our region. We really, right now at Pegasus, are anchored by three different clusters of activity. First, the tower itself, for instance, has the UT Southwestern Tech Transfer Department. In other words, they moved their entire tech transfer team from the UT Southwestern campus to Pegasus Park so they could concentrate on how they transfer the technology and research created at the university into commercialization of companies. The tower is home to that tech transfer department, to accelerators like Blackstone Launch Partners, Mass Challenge, Tatia, and Water Cooler, which is our social impact and nonprofits dedicated space. We recently welcomed McKesson to the campus, as well as Capital Factory. And later this year, we plan to welcome several academic and venture partners. Second is the biotech arm of the campus, which is anchored by BioLabs, which I mentioned, which is a 37,000 square foot incubator with lab, training, and office space for science entrepreneurs. So in other words, you can go there as a sole entrepreneur, you're the only employee, you have a bench, you have lab space. It's kind of like a WeWorks, and you create your own lab space as you grow and grow your company. Second is the biotech arm of the campus anchored by BioLabs, which I mentioned, and the third anchor is the Convene Conference Center, which is all the access to all the facilities on the first floor for meetings, investor meetings, pitch competitions, all of which is available to all the tenants in the office space. So it's quite a complex. If you ever get a chance to take a tour, I hope you'll do so. As I mentioned, the Office of Technology Development at UT Southwestern is there, which we think is important philosophically, and it's a statement by UT Southwestern. Let me say this, UT Southwestern alone has spun out over 80 biotech startups, catalyzing over $2 billion that have been invested in Texas have just come from UT Southwestern alone, and that doesn't count our other universities. A critical factor in the success of our startups will be access to mentorship. Mass Challenge recently opened an office at Pegasus Park, through which they are hosting a cohort of over 15 startups for a 4-month program that features mentorship and funding opportunities. That'll happen every 6-month cycle. There'll be a new group of entrepreneurs from across the country who are coming to Dallas with dreams of building the next big successful bio-life sciences company. So there's a lot going on that's right beneath the radar, so to speak, but you'll be hearing a lot about it. Companies pay monthly. I mentioned BioLabs. They can pay a monthly rent for their BioLab space, so they don't have to use a lot of their capital. They also provide startups with everything they need to launch into high-growth companies. So This is quite an initiative, and I would say that you ought to keep your eyes on Pegasus Park because we've just opened the space the past March, and it's already 40% occupied, which is amazing. It opened up in March, and it's already 40% occupied. We just saw the first BioLabs company graduate from the space. A success story in our view. The company came to North Texas from Boston, incubated at BioLabs, grew quickly, and graduated to larger space within North Texas. That's the dream, that's the vision. What's next? We believe that the growth of this life science industry will create a massive opportunity for job creation, company relocations, more investment dollars, and the expansion of our already impressive intellectual capital. It's been remarkable to see how far the industry has come in just the past few years, and we're excited to say that the vision for Pegasus Park so far is working. We hope this activity on campus will serve as a catalyst for growth across the entire life science ecosystem in order to make Texas a third coast for biotech innovation. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
What is the upside for an investor as they invest in BioLabs?
It's interesting. For those that couldn't hear the first part of the question, he was asking about what's the upside for investors. It's generally known as an industry in which you hit a home run or you hit a single or a double or a triple, but a lot of people also can strike out in biolife sciences. I mean, it's risk capital, but the returns can be gigantic, and so the returns are really impressive. And a lot of the investment capital is what we call Series A or Series B. In other words, somebody raises enough capital from investors, family, and friends, and then they do Series A, Series B, and then eventually plan to go public and take their company public. But some of the returns have been gigantic. Moderna, which of course was one of the companies that invented the COVID vaccine, has been a huge financial success. So you can hit huge home runs in investing in biolife sciences. And of course, those are where we come up with our next wave of drug discoveries, cures for cancer, cures for Alzheimer's, et cetera. That's the reason why there's so much investment dollar going into this area. So healthcare spending is about 20% of our GDP, so it's a huge growth potential.
Hey, Tom, thanks for coming.
Sure.
Really appreciate you being here. It's great information. Here in Texas, you know better than anybody, we're competitive. So I'm wondering who are the two regions of the country that are ahead of us. I'm assuming it's San Francisco and the Boston area in this field, in this sector. Is that the case? And then a subsequent question, what about Houston? Are we competing with Houston? Don't they have a pretty strong biotech area as well?
We are competing with Houston, but we're also collaborating with Houston. We are trying to grow the life science sector in the entire state. I would mention there's a third area in addition to Boston and Silicon Valley, and that is the Research Triangle in North Carolina is very competitive. But we like to say that we're going to create the third coast here in Texas. There's plenty of money and talent on the West Coast and East Coast, but we're going to be the funnel for the middle of the country, and we're going to create the third coast here in North Texas.
One more question.
Yes, so we've had the most number of Nobel laureates of any medical center in the world, not the US, the world. And we've had some of the most valuable patents. And what we need also are some new VC firms specializing in biotech located in this area. Do you see that developing?
Yes, we're talking to various companies right now on the West Coast and East Coast that want to have startup offices here in North Texas, so we're trying very much to attract that venture capital to the center of the part of the country as well. So thanks for the question. Thank you all for the opportunity to be with you.
Tom, thanks for being here today. Very enlightening, and looking forward to a lot of new job opportunities in our area. A book will be placed in the McShann Elementary Library in your honor.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Next week's meeting, U.S. Representative Colin Allred will be here, as he was supposed to be here a few months ago, and I think COVID got him. PARTHIVI PATIL will come up and do the four-way test.
Please recite with me the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
They usually forget, so you just have to go on for it.